Today is Tuesday. It is Tes Kislev, Tafshinai Daled. It's the birthday and the Yortzeit of the Mittler Rebbe. An auspicious day. We're in the Mamar of Vayihiyu Chayei Sara, Shabbos Pashas Chayei Sara, Baruch Machedesh Kislev, Tafshin Yud Beis, on page Kuf Samach Tes. We are 4 lines from the end of Ois Hey, on page Kuf Samach Tes, before the paragraph of Omnam. We're actually up to the line which begins with the word Pnimius, by the full stop, by the word Omnam. The Rebbe is discussing what Noach wanted to accomplish through this process of planting the vineyard and then drinking the wine. That he wanted essentially to fix the problem that occurred at the Chetei Tzadas, which was related and resulted from this idea of Adam Rishon wanting to serve Hashem b'murgish, wanted to have this self-feeling, and that was the precursor to allowing the Chetei Tzadas to occur. And Noach wanted to correct that. He wanted to fix that through linking in and activating the Bechina of Bina, right? Which is Yayin. Bina corresponds to Yayin, to wine. And specifically Pnimius Bina, the internal dimension of Bina, which is the idea of Havana, understanding, but Yedias Hashlila, right? By negation. So you have a combination of two things. On the one hand, you have Bina, which is bimurgish, or there's that hasoge, comprehension. Comprehension denotes presence, existence, awareness. At the same time, it's pnimius Bina, which is what? Bittul yediyas hashlila. There is that transcendent element within it, which brings about a sense of bittul, of nullification. So that's what he tried to accomplish. Omnam, says the Rebbe, Maksiv Bey. What does it say concerning him? Vayesh min hayayin vayishkar. He drank from the wine and he got drunk. He linked into Sfiras Abina, to Pnimius Bina, but it confused him. It overwhelmed him. Confused him. What does that mean? The Rebbe articulates that. For although Vayishkar, right? This becoming intoxicated is also an idea of lack of awareness. Mikol Makayim. Nevertheless, the lack of awareness isn't because of the nullification of the person. It's rather because of the confusion that comes about. That's an inherent characteristic in drunkenness. That his mind and his feeling go away, but not as a result of the fact that there's bittul, there's something else that interferes, that causes him to become in that state. But it's not really bittul. It's not real nullification. Therefore, through him, the fixing of the Chetei Tzadas, the sin of the tree of knowledge, could not be corrected. Why? Because it wasn't really the antithesis to the Chetei Tzadas. It had similarities, but it wasn't the same. I forgot who it was that said that somebody was once in a state of intoxication, and he was talking about the loftiest things and the greatest things, and I don't know, Avedis Hashem, and somebody expressed himself saying that he's not speaking, it's the mashke that's speaking, right? Because what happens once you sober up, you're back to the original, you revert to the original state. So therefore it wasn't really, similarly here, when we're talking about the bittul that is necessary, this nullification, that's the antithesis to the Chetei Tzadas, it wasn't really that, and therefore he wasn't able to fix it. So
isn't that the same with a prophet when he's in the mode of prophecy in general, except for 1 or 2 prophets?
That what?
That they are speaking, divine things, but it doesn't stay with them when they're not in that state.
Could be, yeah, could be. It's similar to a gilui milmaila lamata. When we talk about revelation, right? from above to below. So, like for example, when the sun shines, the example that's brought is always the sun shines. What happens? It's bright, but as soon as the sun sets, it becomes dark. So the brightness is there, right, as a result of the sun shining. It's not that the place itself became bright, right? Nothing has really changed. Something that overwhelms it, and whilst it's present, it's there. But once it's gone, it's gone.
Why did he think he could do it that way? If wine, in fact, is only what you say it is, he should have known at the outset he couldn't get that.
Well, in a sense, the way the tikkun works, I guess, is that it goes in stages. So it's not that he did nothing. It's not that there was something that Noach did accomplish. If you look at Noach's life in general, Noach was a tzaddik, right? So he obviously made a contribution to the tachlis hakavana, a big contribution to the ultimate intended purpose of bringing the world to a state of shleimus, right? However, it wasn't the real deal. Who was the real deal? Says the Rebbe, Omnam, however, Osas Sara came along, la'alma to the world, v'nachsas v'salkas. This is a quote from the Zohar that he mentioned before. She descended into the world, v'salkas, and she came up, etc. Which means to say, she went down into the world and did her Avodas Hashem, and did it successfully, and came out intact, and lifted herself and everything else along with her to where it needs to be. Hainu. Shedavka alidei Sara, it was specifically to Sara, shehoisa bisman d'shnei alafim Torah, who lived in the time period of the 2,000 years of Torah. The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, Tana de Vayihiyu brings from Tana de Vayihiyu that was learned in a Braisa, the Yeshiva of Eliyahu, that the world is 6,000 years. It was Hashem set the world to exist for 6,000 years before Mashiach comes. 2,000 years is Toihu, chaos, the first 2,000 years time period. These 6,000 years are divided into three periods. The first period is called Shnei Alafim Toihu, 2,000 years of chaos. Second period is Shnei Alafim Torah, 2,000 years of Torah. And the last 2,000 years is Shnei Alafim Mesa Mashiach, 2,000 years heralding the time of Mashiach. So the tikkun, as it were, the order which Torah brought into the world, that began with Sarah. The Gemara makes the cheshbon over there with Avram and Sarah, Bayala, Avram and Mitzrayim, that it was, or the pasuk Bayala, Avram and Mitzrayim, I don't remember exactly, but the Gemara over there refers to Avraham, and in that context also Sarah, from when the 2,000 years of Torah began. So it wasn't from Matan Torah, because Matan Torah was the year 2448, right? So you have to back it up a little bit. So the cheshbon the Torah makes is it's in the middle of the life of Avram and Sarah. I think when Avram was at the age of 53. But anyway, that's when Sarah lived. So she lived in the time period of Shnei Alafim Torah. So Dafke through Sarah, specifically through Sarah, Nasa Tikkun Chet Tzadas, the fixing of the sin of the tree of knowledge came about. Why? How? Va'inyan hu dehinei Sarah hu lashon Sarah. Sarah is from the expression of Sarah of rulership. Bechinas hamalchus. That's a reference in Sfiris to Malchus. Noach was Bina. Sarah was Malchus. In fact, if you remember, we learned that Bina and Malchus are connected one to another. Bina is called Ema Ila'a, the upper mother. In the context of the relationship between Chachma and Bina, Chachma is the father, Bina is the mother. Malchus is also called mother, but Malchus is Ema Tatoa. Zo is masculine, and Malchus is the feminine, right? So they have similarities, but she is Malchus. What does Malchus possess that Bina doesn't possess? The Eliyasa, in this context, the Eliyasa bechinas Malchus, since she is the aspect of Malchus. In the spheres, the lowest one, she can descend. She can descend even to the last and the furthest levels, because that's what Malchus is, right? Avol, however, Sora nachsas v'salkas, Sora descends and ascends. Even in her descent to the lowest levels, she returns and goes back up above. With all the refinements that she refines in the process of the descent. Because that's what Malchus is. Right? So Sarah had that capability. That's what Sarah was. So Dafka, she was the one that was able to what? To fix the birurim, to take the birurim that she was involved with when she descended, and remain intact, and also to lift them up together with her. This is also the meaning of the pasuk when it says that when the famine occurred, Avram was forced to go where? Avram just walked in. He was forced to go to Mitzrayim. Our Avram wants to go to the Gan Eden Shabbat Haza, especially in light of the weather. However, Avram descended into Egypt, and then it says Vayal Avram in Mitzrayim. Avram ascended from Egypt. Who v'ishtay, he and his wife. What's the emphasis? V'ikira revusa. The main innovation here, the main news, as it were. What's the main emphasis here is? What's the main stress? Husha Sara also misham. That not only Avram went up, but Sara also went up. Why? Because the fact that Avram descended into Egypt and came up intact, that's no chiddush. That's understandable. Why? Concerning Avram, the Yesi Ever Ma. Since what does Avraham stand for? The Zohar says Ever Ma. He is a limb of nothingness. In other words, Avraham was what? Bittul. And as we know, in the Shemus of Yud Kei Vav Kei, in Hashem's names of Yud Kei Vav Kei, we have Shem Ma, the name of 45, and then we have Shem Ban, right, the name of 52. Ma is the higher level, greater bittul. I think it's chokhmah, right? It's in bittul. We're talking about bittul b'metzias. Shem ban is what? Bittul hayesh, right? So the fact that Avraham Avinu came up intact, because that's not a chiddush. It's nothing special. Why? Because Avraham is ever ma. He's bittul. Bechinas bittul the chokhmah. He says clearly, yeah, this is the nullification of what? Of chokhmah, of the sphere, the attribute of chokhmah. So concerning that, there's no, it's no big news that he had this idea of coming up intact when he came out of Mitzrayim, because he's bittul, and as we said before, that is the ingredient, the fundamental ingredient necessary to remain intact.
Why is he affected?
Ela Ravusa he Chayei Sara, the news here is specifically concerning Sarah. Although Sarah is in the mode of Malchus, she represents Malchus, which is what? Shemban, the name of 52, which does not possess a bittul of Shema. Mikol Mokaim, nonetheless, Nachsas V'Salkes, she too was able to descend and ascend. V'tam Hadover, what's the reason? Although Malchus is at the level of Yirat Hatorah, the lower level of Yira, it's on its own, really, normally, it's only the level of the nullification of the Yesh, which is not total bittul. Not like the higher level of Yira, which is the mode of Chachma, the sphere of Chachma, the attribute of Chachma, which is in a state of total nullification. In our case, this is bitl. It's indeed bitl hayesh, only the bitl of the yesh, but nonetheless it's bitl hayesh of kabbalas el machos shemayim, accepting the yoke of heaven. Which is in the mode of setting yourself aside. It's not like the bitl hayesh of hasaga, of comprehension, which is the type of bitl that Noach wanted to effectuate through the comprehension by negation, as mentioned before. Yesh, which is in the complete state of yesh. So there's in bitl hayesh itself, in the bitl of the yesh, there are levels as well. There's a bitl hayesh as it relates to bina, which is hasaga, comprehension. Bitl hayesh of comprehension is more yesh, because comprehension by its very nature is yesh. You can't comprehend if there's no being. You have to engage. You have to be aware. Whereas bitl hayesh of malchus, so malchus itself is kabbalah cell, right? And then you have the bitl hayesh within the kabbalah cell. But then the Rebbe adds another point here. Vayihiyu through the fact that Sarah was with Avram, through that Nimshich beyirat haTorah sheba was drawn down into her yirat haTorah, into the lower level of Yira, ha'aras Yira Elad Avram, a ray, an emanation from the Yira Elad, the higher level of Yira of Avram, through the union of Sarah and Avram. It was specifically she that was able to fulfill, to correct, to fix the sin of the tree of knowledge. How? Through drawing down the nullification, also in the mode of serving Hashem, which is in an awareness, in a self-awareness mode. So in other words, Avraham wasn't able to do that because he was complete bittul. So there was no murgish. He was lacking that murgish aspect, that self-awareness aspect. Sarah was malchus. She was able to engage in that murgish aspect, in that self-awareness aspect. But you need that, and together with that, you also need the idea of bittul, right? And bittul b'mitzias. So she had a combination of the two through the fact that she had a union with Avram, which was total bittul b'mitzias, and her Indian, which is malchus, coming down and engaging in the self-awareness, she was able to fix the problem of the Eitz Hadas, which is what? The mode of serving Hashem after the Chet Hadas I mentioned before. Let's try to get it in another couple of lines. Page Kuf Ayin at the top. This is why the pasuk concludes and repeats at the end of enumerating all the life of Sarah. The pasuk concludes and says, Shnei Chayei Sara. These are the years of Sarah's life. The Rebbe asked, what's this summary and repetition? We just said it. Because so the Rebbe says like this: the first part of the pasuk enumerates all the detailed levels concerning the spheres from above to below, which is the idea of Me'er Shana b'chinas Atik v'Arach Keser, v'Esrim Shana b'chinas Chalchum Bina, v'Sheva Shana b'chinas Zun. As mentioned before, Me'er Shana refers to Keser, Esrim Shana refers to Chalchum Bina, and Sheva Shana refers to the Midas, right? Achkiv and Shakavan Hi Shetiyah Avayda b'chinas Murgesh. But since the intended purpose is that serving Hashem should be in a mode of awareness, and in this self-awareness mode, over there also we should bring in this sense of nullification. That's why the pasuk concludes, these are the years of Sarah. Because the innovation is the fact that through Sarah there was the correction of the sin of the tree of knowledge. How is that? Through drawing down this idea of nullification also into this mode of self-awareness, which means that also in the worlds of Bri, Yitzir, Asiyah, beginning from El Mabriya, which El Mabriya is the beginning of existence, also there, Yom Shechapitel the Kabbalah El should be drawn down, the nullification of accepting the yoke of heaven. And that is what Shnei Chayei Sara is. Okay, I'm going to rush through it, we're not going to do justice to it, so we'll have to stop, and we'll Mitzvah Hashem continue tomorrow.